She placed the tea beside my hand at exactly 9:14 p.m. every night. Same porcelain cup, same gentle smile. "Drink it while it's hot," she said softly. Her voice always carried warmth. Too much warmth. I remember watching the steam curl upward from the cup, twisting like a quiet warning. For a moment I didn't touch it. Instead, I watched her. My wife, Emma. She lingered beside the table longer than usual that night. Her fingers rested on the back of my chair as if she were making sure I stayed seated, making sure I drank it. Her eyes flickered toward my phone on the table, then toward the hallway, then back to me, a nervous rhythm. Tiny things most people would miss, but I had spent years building companies by noticing the things other people ignored. "Is something wrong?" I asked. She smiled again, too quickly. "No, why would anything be wrong?" I lifted the cup slowly. She watched the entire movement, every second, waiting. When I took a sip, her shoulders relaxed, just slightly, almost invisible. But I saw it. And that was the moment something cold settled in my chest. Not suspicion, certainty. Something inside this house had changed. And my wife knew exactly what it was. What she didn't know was that 3 small cameras were already watching the same moment from 3 different angles, recording everything. The first strange thing wasn't the tea. It was the phone call. 2 weeks earlier, I had come home earlier than usual. The house was quiet, but Emma was in the kitchen whispering. Her back was turned. She didn't see me standing in the doorway. "He drinks it every night," she murmured. A pause. Then she laughed. Soft, nervous. "No, he doesn't suspect anything." Another pause. "Yes, after the paperwork is done." Paperwork. I stepped into the hallway before she turned around. When she saw me minutes later, she acted perfectly normal. Dinner. Conversation. Wine. The performance was flawless, but something inside me had already started shifting. Over the next days, I noticed patterns. Late-night texts. Phone calls that ended when I entered the room. Her sudden insistence that I keep drinking the herbal tea she made for my stress. Emma had always been attentive, but this felt different, calculated. So I did what I always do when something doesn't add up. I observed. Quietly, then one afternoon I followed a small thread, her location history. A clinic downtown. Repeated visits. But Emma wasn't sick. She had never mentioned appointments. The name of the clinic sat on the screen like a silent accusation. Dr. Daniel Carter, cardiologist, married, respected, and, according to Emma's messages, her lover. The texts were careful, almost clinical, but the meaning was unmistakable. They weren't just having an affair, they were planning something. Something that involved me, and my money. That night she placed the tea in front of me again. Same smile, same warmth. I drank it, and I smiled back. Because by then, the cameras were already installed. People think betrayal explodes. It doesn't. It whispers. For weeks, I said nothing. Every evening, Emma brought the tea. Every evening, I drank just enough to make her comfortable. The rest went quietly down the sink when she left the room. Meanwhile, the cameras watched. The living room, the kitchen, the hallway. 3 silent witnesses. The first real recording happened on a Tuesday. Emma thought I had gone to bed. But the camera in the kitchen captured everything. The back door opened. Dr. Carter stepped inside. Tall, confident, comfortable in someone else's house. Emma kissed him immediately. Not passionately. Professionally. Like business partners sealing a deal. They sat at the table. "My chair." And that's when the conversation started. "I've been increasing the dosage slowly," Emma said. "Dosage?" Dr. Carter nodded. "Good. Symptoms will look natural. Heart complications, stress-related." My hands tightened around the desk when I heard that part. Emma laughed quietly. "He trusts me completely." A pause. Then the words that sealed everything. "When he's gone," she said, "the insurance and assets transfer automatically." Dr. Carter smiled. To us, the room felt colder after that. Not because of the betrayal, but because of how calm they were. No guilt, no hesitation. Just planning. Careful, precise, like surgeons. They kissed again before he left. And when Emma came upstairs later, she slid into bed beside me, her hand resting lightly on my chest, listening to my heartbeat, the one she was slowly trying to stop. The evidence stacked itself neatly. Video files, audio, dates, times. I organized everything the way I would prepare a corporate acquisition. Methodical, impersonal. 3 weeks later, I invited Emma to breakfast. She seemed relaxed, almost cheerful. She poured coffee. "So," she said lightly, "what's on your schedule today?" I slid the tablet across the table. "Just one thing." She looked down. The video began playing. The kitchen. Dr. Carter walking in. Her smile. Her kiss. Her words. I watched Emma's face slowly lose color. Her breathing stopped halfway through the recording. When the line, "When he's gone," echoed from the speakers, she covered her mouth. "No." Her voice cracked. "This isn't—" I paused the video, then calmly placed a folder beside the tablet. Police reports, medical analysis, audio transcripts. "I replaced the tea 3 weeks ago," I said quietly. Her eyes filled with panic. "You were poisoning me, Emma." Silence swallowed the room. She looked smaller suddenly. Not the confident woman from the videos. Just someone caught inside a collapsing lie. "You don't understand," she whispered. But I already did. Dr. Carter arrived 30 minutes later. Right on schedule. Emma had texted him earlier, exactly like I told her to. When he walked into the house, he stopped immediately. 3 police officers stood in the living room. The tablet played the kitchen footage again. His expression changed slowly. Professional composure cracking under reality. "This is a misunderstanding," he said carefully. I almost admired the attempt. One officer slid a printed transcript across the table. "Attempted murder conspiracy," he replied. Emma started crying. Dr. Carter didn't. He just looked at me, finally understanding. "You set us up," he said. I shook my head slightly. "No," I said. "You did that yourselves." Handcuffs clicked quietly. The sound was oddly satisfying. Not loud, not dramatic, just final. The kitchen feels unfamiliar without her careful routines. Sometimes I still sit at the table at 9:14 p.m., out of habit. No tea arrives anymore. No smile. No performance. Just silence. The lawyers say the case will be straightforward. The recordings removed any doubt. Friends ask if I feel angry, but anger requires emotion. And something inside me went cold the night I heard her say those words. When he's gone. I built my life by trusting instincts. That instinct saved my life, literally. Emma once told me I was impossible to read, that I hid my thoughts too well. Maybe she was right. Because the night she decided to poison me, I had already started watching. And the strange thing about betrayal is this. The moment someone decides to destroy you, they stop realizing you might already be 10 steps ahead. I didn't need revenge. The truth was enough. And in the end, the only thing I ever drank from her cup was proof.